Get ready to belly flip and whiskey sip. You are listening to the Bourbon Blades podcast. This is episode 2, Knights of the Roundtable.
I love the title.
Thank you. Tonight we have Sir Joe of Lancelot, Sir Infant the Enzo, and Cirrhosis of Liver.
Okay.
Thought you'd enjoy that. So, welcome, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Yeah, we were stoked. We were stoked you could make it, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So excited to get into everything. Well, you've brought like a smorgasbord of stuff here.
Yeah.
So really excited to get into that. But I don't know, man. I guess we'd like to kind of get into a little bit more of your background in the EDC world. So I guess for you, and I don't mean to cut you off, Walsh.
No, go ahead.
So did your interest in EDC start with knives, or where did that come from?
I've always grown up carrying knives outdoors, hunting, fishing, all of that, and it just kind of translated from there.
Okay, nice.
Good answer.
Yeah, I feel like you probably have a similar kind of background with that.
Yeah, no, I grew up a country boy and then fought it for a long time, and then came back to myself.
We always come back.
Yeah. So, no, I actually was hunting last weekend. I got really mad because the cold front came through and everything just kind of bedded down, except for the squirrels. So, took my nephew hunting and he got mad at the squirrels with me. So, he's asked for a squirrel wallet.
Nice.
I said maybe next Christmas. That takes some time.
That's right.
So, knives. What was your first knife? Just out of curiosity, you remember?
My first knife was an old LL Bean with a swing guard on it.
Like a cheetah style knife?
Right.
Oh,
right.
Man, that's cool.
Wow.
You don't still have it?
I do still have the original one. Recently, I've gotten a K-bar that looks almost identical, probably made by the same people.
Sure, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's really cool. I've always, the cheetah, it's a funny pattern. You don't see it in the wild too often,
Right.
you know. But every time I'm in a store, I always make a point to check them out just because they're so funky. I need to get one to add to the collection. That's really cool.
Mine was the Boy Scout popcorn. You sold enough popcorn. You got that fake Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
That was mine.
Yeah, I had the same one.
I still have it. It's in my toolbox at home.
Who knows what happened to mine? I lost it in a move or something. And then the next one that I picked up after that was my dad's flea market knife, and it was modeled on a buck 110.
I think we've all had several of those.
Yeah. And it was like, man, you open it up and the first thing it says on the blade is Pakistani steel.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I still have that one. It's a piece of work, but yeah, it's definitely got a place of pride in the collection.
Good.
Well, that's cool, man. So how did that translate? I guess your interest in knives. How did that when did that widen into like more EDC in general? Because I know when we were talking the other day, and one thing in particular is you make all sorts of products for all sorts of different uses.
Right.
And then there's also, of course, the idea of just like I think as you put it, pocket trash, where people just make stuff to,
Yep.
So how did you get into that wider community?
I would guess that was more from just making friends in the community. Yeah. Having new things brought to light to me and usefulness of other products. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did that happen? I guess that happened mostly through like social media and stuff? Or
right.
Yeah,
right.
Okay, cool.
I need more friends. That's all there is to it.
You and I are both, I feel like you and I both have a tendency to, we don't really venture out into the wider online community so much, and I want to do that more. But at the same time, like I also really value being able to like talk to people in person.
Right.
That's really cool to me.
Right.
And I know we were talking about Blade Show not long ago, and I know you were saying that for you, you don't like to be in the crowds and stuff, and I totally get that aspect of it. I think for me though, getting to talk to people one-on-one is just so gratifying.
It is good.
Now granted, you kind of never know. It's a coin toss what kind of person you're going to wind up talking to. But no, fortunately hanging out with you's been awesome. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah, man. Well, anyway, so what do you think, Walsh? You got anything you wanted to add to that? Or?
No, because there's a couple things over there I want to.
You want to ask about?
And look at, because you showed us a few of them before we started recording, but then there's some you didn't, so I'm curious. But
we need to dive into pretty much everything up there, I think.
So I just want to just a blanket pocket check real quick.
That's a good call.
So that'll get into that.
Okay.
So you're first.
I'm first.
So I didn't see what you had.
Okay, I got a ton. This is gonna take a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have on the Kroger pants?
Have a drink. It's gonna be a minute. I do have on the Kroger pants. I was thinking ahead.
Okay.
All right, I'll start with the main blade. It's a, and I'll let, if you don't mind, man, I'll let you do the B-roll there. It's a Buck 110, a mod that I did. Here, I'll hand that to you. So that one, it's a Buck 110 LT, and the funny thing about these LTs is that they're dirt cheap, and they're cheaply made. This one was a special order from SK Blades. They used to do special factory runs from Buck, and it was cool because you could spend like $40 and you could get a great 110. Well, the handle material's not great, but you could get a 110 with a really nice steel, like the steel on that one's CPM 154. Yeah, I love that steel. And what I ended up doing is I went in and sort of did some Dremel work on the handles and tried to get some, you know, some more texture to them, because out of the box they're just these awful smooth plastic.
Got a great feel now.
Yeah, I love the texture.
It was red, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for what they are, they're great, affordable knives. But yeah, doing some modding on it, I think, really kind of jazzed it up, gave it some much needed funk.
And a little leather work there, a little.
I wouldn't call that leather work.
It's leather.
It's leather, and it works.
It works. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. Okay, so I actually made a mistake on this. See if you can find it. I was trying to. This knife had a little bit of wobble, and I was trying to get the wobble out. So I was taking a peen hammer to it.
Did you crack it?
Yep, I cracked it. I actually ejected a piece of bone right out of the handle. So fortunately, I was able to get it back in there. And the wobble's gone, so, you know, that was a success.
Case mini sod buster here.
Yeah.
So, I'll put that over here.
And then in the, let's see, in the side pocket on these.
I still like that one.
On my Kroger pants.
I want a full-size version of that.
I know, right? It's the Fog Diver mod, the Kaiser.
Say it right or say it backwards?
Critical Mini.
There you go.
So this one has a kind of a triple tone acid wash on it, and added a quick stud and acid washed the pocket clip, and then pretty much everything else. I didn't mess with the handle on that one because the handle's already pretty nice on that knife.
You still use the flipper at all, or you just?
No, I do. It's fun, man. It's just, now it's a fidget toy for me. I just sit there and I use all 3 deployment methods. Yeah, it's really turned into a.
That one's snappy.
It's fun, man. I love that knife. Blade steel on that one's 3V, and the handle material is micarta. I got a fixed blade. Let's see. This is the Montana Americana Skinner. My dad got me that one. I think the steel's 1095.
Beautiful handle.
I love the handle on that. I don't know what the material is, but it almost, in some ways, it kind of looks like koa, but then I guess it could be like a walnut burl. I'm not sure. It's a gorgeous handle. These are made by this dude up in Montana, and he has no presence online at all. He just makes these knives and sells them at a booth at a farmer's market in I can't remember what city it was. A small town. Man, I'm blanking on the name. But yeah, that's Montana Americana for anybody that's interested in it. You can Google it, and I think you can turn up some YouTube videos on reviews, but that's about it. He doesn't have much online presence. I want to let Walsh take it hunting because, man, I mean, that thing's just made for skinning.
Yeah, that's a Skinner. Yeah, it's a lot lighter than it looks too.
Yeah. It feels, you know, when you get it in that
right.
hammer grip, it feels really
right
great. Oh, it's perfect. Let's see, and of course, I've got the.
Man's got more pockets and he knows what to do with.
I got the Lancelot coin.
Oh yeah,
had to bring that. So yeah, love that. How did you come up with that logo?
That was a logo that was originally drawn for my wife, probably 25, 30 years ago.
Oh, wow. Man, that's really cool.
And we had used part of it, and I adapted it for my leather business.
Nice. I love it, man.
Thank you.
That's a great history to that. So yeah, I had the coin and one more knife.
Now I have one too.
There you go, man. Yeah. The Rough Rider saddle horn, the one I got when I got to meet Joe at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Pack of wood handles on that. Man, I was really torn between that and the copper lock, but I'm glad I went. I just love saddle horns, man. I just love them. I felt bad making Greg run back. But yeah, so I think that's everything I got. I got some random crap, but I mean, that's all the knives.
So mine's a little bit shorter. I only carried 2 of these today. The other 2 I brought just to show off. But main carry today was the Kaiser XL Sheepdog.
Beast.
This was our Comanche mod that we did about 2 years ago. Still one of my favorite carries. You enjoyed opening that, didn't you?
Yeah, that thing's a monster.
So, and then, you know, if you got to go fire and ice, you got to go one, you know, one side of the scale to the other. So then I have
got to keep that yin and yang.
Yeah, the Kaiser Urban Bowie, the Lakota mod. So one of my favorite knives, and Enzo keeps saying, if you ever sell that, I'm not selling.
No, I know.
So,
I really like that knife.
so we put a lot of work into this one, and I just replaced the clip today, so you'll see a YouTube video about that soon.
Did it come with that finish?
Yeah.
Man,
so they
perfect.
have different finishes on the clips now that you can purchase. I think there was like six different options.
That suits the knife perfectly.
It suits the knife. So I had somebody comment on the video, was like, you should brass wash the clip too to match the blade.
I don't know, man.
I'll try.
I like the way it looks now.
But this clip does look better than the original clip that was with it.
It's got that nice powder finish, man. Yeah, I'd almost just leave it.
So then I had to bring the R2D2 mod as well. Also brass wash the blade. It didn't hold as well. In the sunlight, these two are completely opposite, but you can see it there.
Right.
We brass washed both of them. This was like 3 minutes. This one we did 5 minutes, I think, a piece. You did 5 minutes and I did 5 minutes, and it stuck a lot better. But yeah, no, that one was fun, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna. I hope. I won't say pretty sure. I hope we're gonna do another version of this better as a giveaway in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there was a discussion online on a YouTube video that wasn't ours about which knife was better. And I think per the YouTube I chose the wrong one. But again, I like funky knives, so I had to bring it for Joe to see tonight. The Kaiser Huntsman. This thing is just it's badass. Sorry.
It's a cool knife.
It's a cool knife, and it goes along with my funky theme. So nothing against that knife sitting over there. Like I said, it's
we'll get into that.
It's much more functional.
I ate my shoes on that
You ate
comment.
your shoes?
Once I handled that knife, I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah.
No, like I said, I stand by it. Like this fits my personality.
Sure, yeah.
Of like, you know, I have knives for hunting, and then I have knives to carry, and I carry funky knives. So I was like, I stand by it. I think this one's cool, but no, for your everyday use, I don't know where it's at, but for everyday use, the Phoenix is probably the better option. Yeah. So
well, on that note, should we ask Joe what all he had with him today?
Yeah, Joe, what'd you bring?
All right. I've laid everything down. Start out with my Heretic.
Oh yeah, gosh, man. So we were talking about this, but so for you, the Heretic, it's really that spring tension, right?
It is, yeah.
That seals the deal over.
And I like the smaller stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And that's one thing that Walsh I always appreciate with him is that you do have these monster blades, but he has his eye on the small stuff. And that's something I never really explore. I'm always like, man, I need to look into more smaller knives.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was Hunter Green.
Oh, that's cool.
And I always carry a small one.
Is that a Victorinox?
Yep.
Okay.
Classic SD.
I got a quick hot take question for you. Victorinox, a Swiss Army knife or a multi-tool? What do you prefer?
It depends on what I'm doing.
That was my answer. All right.
Yeah, if I know I've got things to do, I'll grab a Leatherman or use the little Knipex pliers.
Oh, there you go. I haven't tried carrying any of those yet.
Yeah.
That's been one of those things that I see people post them on Instagram. Like, man, those look handy.
I have one of these, just the right size to hold a pair of those.
Oh, that's perfect. There you go.
And that one is with my Bear.
Oh, I didn't realize that you've got the matching scale material and the.
Right.
That's
and the pin.
cool.
And the pin.
That's cool. Now, what pin is that?
That is the tactile turn pin.
Okay.
The bolt action in Ultim.
Oh, heck yeah. Man, I love that. I haven't bought anything yet in Ultim, and that's been something I've really been wanting to check out as far as handle
A lot
materials
of people
go.
either really like it or really don't.
You even got the
The
matching
only
beads on
complaint
there,
that I've
too.
seen from people is like the color. They don't really care for it.
Yeah.
I like the appearance
It's
of
different.
it a lot. It's
It's
different.
light.
Yeah.
It's got a good texture on it, so it's got some grip.
I was afraid when it came out. I'm like, oh, is this like some type of FRN? But no, it's different. It's God, yeah, man. Every time I've experienced it, it's always been nicely milled. You know,
Right.
so you've got that like micro texture.
Right, well see, I've got the Jack Wolf here, the Pioneer Jack. that's also in the Ultim, but it's a smooth Ultim.
Yeah.
And you don't have the grip on that one.
Yeah, I like the grip on that one.
Yeah, I prefer I think I prefer the sort of the micro milling.
Right.
Man, this goes great though, dude. This this is a what's the word I'm looking for? This is a very nicely curated.
Yeah.
Like a matching set.
Yeah,
I always
love
like to have
it.
a pen with me.
I love it, man.
Ideas come, or I need to jot something down, or
Nice. Yeah, so we are pretty good about that as well. Actually, I got one Walsh gave me, so we do try to stay on the pen game. But yeah, this is a Wee Knives Baculus. I call it the Scott Bacula. But yeah, fun little knife. It's got a fidget spinner on top, so fun little pen.
Yeah.
So I'll sit there and do that sometimes. Or I'll make the mistake of like, if I'm just like thinking kind of absent-mindedly, I'll stick my hand in my pocket and do this. But then that looks very strange, and I have to be aware that I'm in public doing
Aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. No, anyway, God, I love that. That is so cool. So far, that little combo there is one of my favorite things on the table.
Lynch pry bar.
Oh, there you go, man. Nice.
Got to go with a Lynch. Lynch makes all my clips.
So let me ask you that.
Love the feather clip.
We're also big fans of Lynch. So have you gotten to, I guess, know them a little more personally? Or?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. They seem like really good folks over there.
I like that.
That is really cool. So is this like the all access pass? Is that
It
what
is.
this?
It is.
Sweet, man. That thing is awesome. This is one of these ones too that was kind of on my radar. And again, I have such a when it comes to EDC gear, I'm so laser focused on just knives.
Yeah.
And I don't branch out enough. And this thing's really cool.
He's still pulling stuff out of it.
I'm still pulling stuff out.
Yeah.
Gosh, man, that's awesome.
Oh, see, I didn't get my coin out. I have a coin that I carry. Pretty much, this is my normal
Nice.
coin. I'm the maker of my own luck, or my own fortune. So, okay, now I think I'm done. Yeah.
Get everything?
Yeah, I didn't. I left my pen. Oh, sorry, I just smacked the microphone.
That'll be
Sorry
fine.
about that.
That'll be fine. Yeah, the only thing I didn't get out was my Leatherman, but I mean, everybody's seen a Leatherman 1,000 times, so we'll skip that.
Yeah.
But so on the subject of working with Lynch, so that's primarily been for your like your pocket slips that hook on the side of the pants, right?
Right. It works on this one. Let's see. It works on that one. And I also make some fixed blade pocket sheets
Oh, sweet. Okay.
that use the same clip. And that is stonewashed titanium.
Man, all right. Do you mind
What's
passing me one?
Yeah,
what's this
yeah.
thing you snuck out here? What's that?
That is, we were on the subject of pocket junk.
Oh,
That
pocket trays,
is
yeah.
vintage Westinghouse micarta and Ultim. And that was made by one of the vendors. Myself and Said Stevie started the EDC Roundtable.
Okay. I didn't know that you started that with Said
Yep.
Stevie.
Yep.
That's
Me and him,
man,
it's
that's really cool.
been a little bit better than a year and a half now.
Wow, that's awesome.
We use that to give several small makers a platform
Yeah.
to sell their wares. That one is made by Jack's Lungs.
Jack's Lungs. I know Jack's Lungs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I follow him on Instagram. So what? I thought he was a Hank guy. Does he do other stuff
That
too?
is Forrest that does the Hanks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And that
Okay, my
is
mistake.
One of Forrest Hanks there.
Okay. Good to know. So does Jack's Lungs, does he specialize in nuts and stuff like this?
does,
Or-
he
okay,
does, yeah.
cool.
Uses a lot of the vintage materials, the Westinghouse micarta,
And see, this is what I was really kind of wanting to break into with you, was
Right.
because, like I keep saying, you and I, there's this big world I think that we're not quite as aware of. But like, I don't have any nuts in my collection or anything like that, and I have friends that post them on Instagram, and I'm like, man, it's interesting stuff, and I want to start checking more of that out. God, I love this Westinghouse micarta. That's beautiful.
it's got to feel like nothing else.
Yeah, and
And the way he puts it together like that
Yeah.
is flawless.
it's seamless. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
that's wild. That's really cool.
Now, those of you watching the YouTube video, you just saw me get up and leave and come back. We get antsy, we get nervous
That's
about
true,
the
yeah.
cameras turning off. So about every 20 minutes,
One of us is going to pop
get
up.
up. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you didn't notice that, but
So let me ask you, while you're mentioning that you started EDC, the roundtable with Said Stevie.
Right.
How did you guys kind of get hooked up? Was that just through Instagram?
Yeah, just through
Okay.
Instagram. And I've made so many friends and several of my closest friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Everybody all across the country and around the world.
Around the world. Well, we've had kind of the same thing.
That's true. Yeah.
We've got a buddy in Sweden.
Yeah.
And EDC Nord.
Yes.
I don't know if he wants to say his name. So
I'm
EDC
sure he
Nord.
doesn't care. Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah. Well, no, I'm not gonna say his actual name, but it's. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just interesting that someone's on the other side of the world. Like, hey, I watch your stuff. I like what you do.
Right.
And we. You've sent him some stuff, and
yeah. I've been able to help him just get a hold of things. It's like, if he wants to order it in Sweden, it's just a nightmare to go through. But I'm hoping. So he started just kind of a creative kind of channel where he was doing all this crazy stop motion stuff with knives and really cool stuff, and it took off very quickly.
Yeah.
And then I think he had what happens to a lot of folks, where all of a sudden the traction just stops and there's no explanation why. And now I'm hoping, I think he's pulled back since then, but I would love to see him start posting more again. But no, he's a really nice dude, and we're hoping to have him on somehow. I don't know how the hell we would do it. It would be...
We've looked at a couple of online things where it'd just be us over the computer pretty much. But no, we're hoping to get him on sometime. But no, yeah, just random people. So far on the podcast, because I can't look at the analytics on YouTube and understand that stuff. It's a little too complicated for me. But the podcast from Podbean breaks it down really nice. So it said we had one listener from Sweden, and then he messaged and was like, hey, I listened to your podcast at work. And I was like, well, there's our one listener from Sweden. And then we had one in Germany.
that was Brimstone Gear.
That's Brimstone Gear, yeah. We had a couple in the UK, and then we had one in Australia. So
That's awesome.
I don't know who the heck that would have been in Australia.
I have no idea, but it's interesting that you make that connection through some sort of social media platform that, hey, I have a common interest with somebody.
Right. It amazes me every time I get an international order. I've sent pocket slips to New Zealand and Australia, and I mean all the way around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so that actually brings up a question I have. Do you have one product in particular that is your most popular in terms of, like, I guess,
Probably
a best
my pocket slips.
I was going to
clip
figure.
slips.
Yeah. This one right here, if you don't mind me, if I can take a look at that one. That is just so cool. Is this the one that you had the XO in?
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
Now, did you make this, I guess this model, is it specifically made for the XO, or is it just kind of like whatever?
It is made in a size that fits the XO. It also fits, it'll fit a buck 110. It'll fit a full-size sodbuster.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. I've got this quick set on here that's not helping, but yeah, that's perfect. Man, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I guess tooling. Stamping.
Yeah.
Okay. God, that looks fantastic.
Thank you.
I knew that one. Stamping. Yeah.
That is gorgeous. Dude, do you mind holding that up just in case?
Yeah,
Because that's beautiful. Man, that's stunning work. So, what led you to? Did the EDC interest come first and then the leather, or was the leather the first thing that?
It was a bit of both. Leather has been in my family. My great-grandfather owned the hardware store that was on Market Square in the early 1900s with the harness shop. Wow. So there was all the leather tied into that. Yeah. My dad used to make knife sheaths all the time, and it's just something that I've always been around.
Yeah.
And I guess it was long by the time COVID had hit, and I had dabbled in leather here and there, and I was looking for a wallet, and I couldn't find a wallet that I liked. And I ordered 2 or 3, and I was like, well, I like this about this one, but it doesn't do this. So I sat down and designed a wallet and made it. And it just kind of went from there.
Is that where this came from?
That is not. That is also an original design, and that is my strap wallet. And it holds generally 6 to 8 cards in the inside, and then you can hold 3 or 4 or cash on the outside. That's nice, minimal design. Slim in the pocket.
I have tried, but I can't.
You have to clean your wallet out.
I've done that.
You don't need those receipts from 5 years ago.
No, I'm not. No, well, I'm not going to say that. But
You better. Don't speak too soon.
So, for size comparison, there's a difference between my wallet and his wallet. Not that there's more in it, but that's just what I'm comfortable with. And then
that's the thing. How many of those cards do you actually use?
Those and that one, but the hunting license, insurance, but.
Now, see, okay, if you don't mind me juxtaposing my opinion.
Go ahead.
I'm not a minimalist by any means, but I do like to carry a smaller wallet. This one, I'm not actually a big fan of this wallet. I only carry it because my mother-in-law got it for me. And it was nice of her to get it, a nice little titanium wallet for me. But really, I've always preferred leather. But my whole outlook is, if I have something, so for me, I've got like a scuba certification, and I don't need to have that with me every day, you know what I mean? So I've got 2 wallets, basically. I've got my big fat wallet that has all the stuff that I don't need day to day, and that just stays in the drawer, you know. And if I know I'm going to be doing something that I have to, like, you know, go through and grab that before I do it, then, you know, then there you go.
I will say I do have a second wallet that I take on vacation, and it's more that size. I take a small wallet on vacation, and it just says the one card has my license, and if I lose it, I still got everything else.
Right.
So. But no, that's my normal. And if I don't have this,
man, that thing's a hoss, dude.
If I don't have it, I feel naked.
Yeah, when you don't have it, you're 5 pounds lighter.
Yeah, I'm not leaning this way as much. Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it took me a lot to cut down to the minimalist wallet.
So then is this another wallet right here?
This is actually a business card holder, and I've got it. There's a slot in the back, so you've got quick access to one card.
Nice.
That one's been there for a while, so it's got a nice little crease in it, but that one I just carry for business cards.
Okay, cool. So do you make, do you focus on this style of wallet, or do you make other ones?
I don't make a whole lot of wallets. There are so many people that make wallets, and there are so few original designs out there. And I mean, this is an original design. Since I've come out with it, it's been copied. And that kind of hits the frustration level there when you work hard enough to design an original product and then it's immediately copied.
How often is that I mean, is that strictly on something that's more popular like wallet? I guess more mainstream like wallets.
It happens on everything.
Man, that's so frustrating.
I mean, it's the same with the knife companies.
Yeah,
Somebody will come out with a nice knife, and
we see it. Yeah.
6 months later, you look on Wish and find a copy of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say I can't imagine somebody having that level of detail like on that exo sheath. That to me is just, man, it looks so good.
That made me think of my my fake 0562. I bought a ZT 0562 off of eBay, and I won it for a ridiculous low price. And I was like, you know, I wonder.
Yeah.
And when I got it, because he has one too, and when I got it, I felt pretty good about it. And then I handled his, and I was like, no, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right. It's not even remotely close. I was like, I bet this was a Wish.com, and somebody sold it on eBay. Yeah.
It's funny because
I have since destroyed that knife.
one of the big things with that, because I know exactly like what you're referring to with those false 5.62s. The stop bar on the actual 5.62, it's a stop bar. It's not a stud, but on the fake ones, it doesn't actually meet the handle, so it's a stud. So that's the biggest sign right there if you see those online, and those things proliferate on eBay like nothing else. So yeah, for anybody listening, if you're looking for a 0562, when you check the images of it, make sure that that stop bar is meeting the handle when the knife is fully open. That's the biggest thing. One other thing I wanted to elaborate on too. So remind me again who is making this hank?
That is Forrest of Forrest Hanks.
Man, that is. So it's funny, I've always resisted picking up a hank because I collect bandanas. These are totally different. This is like so much nicer.
Yeah.
So much nicer.
That microfiber on the back.
Yeah,
cleaning
man.
your phone,
So
or
here,
cleaning your glasses, or...
Yeah, I didn't touch the back. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's more of a suede.
That's
almost.
perfect for
for
cleaning
the fingerprints off your knife blades.
You see that there? I have a hate relationship with my actual microfiber because I can go and pick it up.
Yeah.
It sticks to my hands. I hate it. And actually,
like a static cling, I guess.
Yeah, like a static cling. It's just rough, and I don't know why it does it to me. But my wife threw one at me the other day. We had like 2 in the house, and she threw it at me, and I just instinctively put my hand up to catch it, and I was like, no. So not a fan.
Well, yeah,
but this is
that's
really nice.
He does beautiful work, custom embroidery.
Nice work, Forrest. So how many vendors do you guys have on the Roundtable?
Right now we have 5.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, I need to get on there and order some stuff.
You didn't want to show yours off there?
No, I did not after seeing that. Are you kidding me? This looks like a wash rag. Oh man, that's a lot of really impressive stuff. And I keep coming back to that exo sheath. That's to me is.
Thank you.
Do you do any custom work or is?
I do. Yeah. Mostly for fixed blade sheaths.
Sure, I would imagine.
Everything comes with Kydex now, and people send me. I need the knife to pattern from, but they'll send me the knife, and I'll custom make sheaths for them.
Okay, that's good to know because I have something that I may want to talk to you about later.
All right. But, I already hit him up first.
I'm in line. I'm sorry.
No, see, I actually prefer something like this.
Oh,
and I've seen, I don't want to say a bigger version of this, but it has other pockets and the key ring.
Right.
And I saw that Smoky Mountain Knife Works in one of their recent catalogs actually started selling these. And I don't know who the maker or the designer is, but we're going up there in a couple of days. I was like, I'm going to have to look at some of these.
Yeah.
Because I want something to be able to hold my pen, hold my knife, hold my keys. We'll skip that part. I know what you're going to say. Yeah, because I carry other things, and I just like that.
Right.
Yeah, feeling right there. Right. And so I keep looking, and some of the things online, I don't remember what one of the retailers.
This is another thing, though, actually, that you were talking about. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
But Joe, you were talking about how a design comes out and then right away somebody else snatches it. This happened with and you may know I can't remember the name of the maker, but he was a small maker that focused on Leatherman-oriented leather sheaths. And Leatherman completely ripped off the thing that he had been making for, an established amount of time.
I believe that was Tail of Knives.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And
they're a fairly major company.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, gosh. That's and again, I'm not familiar, but when I saw that, I was like, I couldn't, a company is like Leatherman doing that?
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me? Man. But no, again, I love that.
No, I didn't even let you touch it. Sorry about that.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's killer.
But yeah, no, I'd love to have just kind of that all-in-one. Carry the pen or the flashlight, carry the knife, carry the keys, and it's all in one spot. And because I just have a carabiner on my keys, and I just hook it on my belt loop, and it.
So something like this to me, again, as a layman looking at something like this, it's super detailed. How much time goes into, say, one of these?
It depends on if it's the first one or like the 50th one.
Okay.
For the first one, probably just the stamping alone, probably 45 minutes to an hour. After that, I can get it down to probably 20 minutes or so.
Wow. Okay, that's a huge.
For just the stamping. Everything I do is also custom dyed.
Okay.
So all my leather comes natural leather, and I dye everything and top coat it and do all the finishing.
Okay. So then I guess so you're working with like veg tan leather then. Okay. Right. So I've got a very small amount of leather experience just working with wedding albums, but everything I use is chrome tanned.
Right.
And so it's I guess, and again, you can educate me on this, but I guess with chrome tan, so what's the big difference there between chrome tan and veg? Chrome tan's already been dyed, right?
Chrome tan is tanned through a different process. Veg tan is traditionally tanned with barks, and chrome tan is tanned with chromium salt.
Okay.
And you don't have a whole lot of tanneries doing chrome tan in the United States anymore because the EPA, because it is a nasty process.
Really? Okay.
And the chromium salts will also corrode brass, copper, high carbon steels. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to
know.
So
anything that comes in contact with knives always needs to be veg tan.
That's interesting. So I have a custom knife that the maker had included a note with it when I purchased it. Do not put this in. I guess he said, don't put this in a chrome tan thing. I didn't know why. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But it's a cheaper leather because it's a faster tanning process.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep that in mind going forward. I see you got yourself a pour.
I did. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have myself one. Do you mind if I get some of that?
No, go ahead.
Okay, great.
This is my part of the video. No, I went with all Heaven Hill products this evening.
Nice.
Just doing a little history. I didn't know your previous occupation, so I was like, maybe I can add some education. And nope, he's got me beat. So, but no, I was gonna throw in here with the Elijah Craig. We went and did a tour at Heaven Hill earlier this year, and we learned a lot of things and drunk a lot of things. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting from Elijah Craig was he was a pastor up in New England and had a nice little cult following, and then they kicked him out because he was making moonshine on the side. So he moved to Kentucky, kept making his moonshine. His whole church community came with him, all 300 of them. And he got kind of popular and started selling his moonshine in New Orleans. Well, they would put it on a flat-bottom boat, and it would sail down the Ohio and then the Mississippi. Take about 9 months to get there. It would go through different climate changes, humidity, all that fun stuff. So it started clear. By the time it got there, it was amber. So then they sent a messenger back up and was like, hey, we need some more of that amber liquid. I don't have any amber liquid. Yes, you do. So they ended up bringing him some back, and it was his product. And he's like, no, that tastes somewhat similar to what I started with. And so he kind of crowned himself the father of bourbon. But there was apparently another guy that was doing something similar at the same time. So there's a little there. But I'm going to give it to Elijah Craig just because I'm biased. So we got the Godfather here. We actually have the most popular and best-selling Evan Williams.
Yeah.
All three of these are made by the same company. They've got 12 or 13 different lines. And then we've kind of got these are both their low ends. This one's kind of their middle ground, but that Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, that's hard to pass up.
It is. And I finally got myself a bottle. And for me, so I'm more of the budget-oriented, I guess, bourbon enthusiast. But you know, I mean, so these come in about like right around that $50 mark.
Yeah.
And it's a satisfying purchase for somebody like me that, you know, I'm not going to shell out a whole lot.
Yeah.
It feels like $50 well spent. So you know, if I did a particularly hard day of work and I feel like I deserve it.
Now, this is a mini right here, but this is a full size.
Yeah.
The fifth.
750. Yeah.
Yeah, 750 of Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. $17.
Mm-hmm.
The 19, 14. Pick one.
18. You said 17. You said 19.
$17.99. Yeah. So $17. The full size of the Elijah Craig will run you about $24, and the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond will run you $50. The crazy thing about Bottled and Bond pre-COVID, it was $19.
Yeah, it's wild how. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, COVID affected everything across the board, and then of course, you know, in a lot of ways, like you said, you got more into leather working, I guess, during COVID.
Right.
We got
into knives.
Yeah.
Well, you were already into knives.
Yeah, and you kind of dove in pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then we got this YouTube channel started during COVID.
Yeah.
So in some ways, and I don't want to. This is a tangent that I don't want to get on.
That was episode 1.
Yeah, that was episode 1. As much of a curse that whole period was, at least it birthed some cool stuff.
Right.
You know, people got creative. But anyway, so that's when you really started learning a lot about bourbon.
Yeah. So I pulled a fast one on my wife. She doesn't watch these, so it's fine. Right when COVID hit, I went to the liquor store, and I bought one of these, and I bought one of the 1.75s, and when this one would get a little low, she didn't know I had the big one. I would pour it back in. Same bottle.
Oh,
yes,
my
honey,
Lord.
Same bottle.
Oh my God.
I've been really good today, and that worked for a long time.
Oh my Lord, that's good. Well, so yeah, I brought that. We brought the Evan Williams along, and that to me is probably becoming my favorite just go-to, because it's like, you know, for $18, like you're saying, it's you know, it's not the most. It doesn't have the most wow factor, but it's just a really well-rounded pour. And you know, again, if you're budget oriented, it's a good daily kind of, you know. If
I'm going budget, I'm going Rittenhouse.
Yeah, Rittenhouse is creeping up though, man.
Yeah, it is, because it's what, 24 now, so it's
It's funny how
getting there.
Everybody catches on, and then, you know.
Well, because when the vid hit and everybody shut down, they just kept making the bottom end, the base, to try to keep it out, to keep it going. And they stopped making the higher end stuff. Well, when production started ramping back up, and especially with your Buffalo Traces and things like that, where they added, 4 million barrels last year, and just however many new barrel houses, you know, Heaven Hill did the same thing. And but now their other models, if you will, their other bottles are starting to come back out. Fighting Cock, Rittenhouse, your favorite Mellow Corn.
Oh yeah, good old Mellow Corn. Yep.
You ever had Mellow Corn?
I haven't, no.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I would say. So when we went to Heaven Hill and we did the distillery tour, they have a bar upstairs that, you know, they welcome you to hang out in.
Right.
So we're hanging out up there, and the bartender.
Our main picture is in front of that bar. So.
Oh well, yeah. It'll probably show up at some point. But she was just. He forced me to have some Mellow Corn.
Yeah. Somebody did it to me, so I was paying it forward.
And I was just like, wow, yeah, I don't want that anymore. And she was she was like, do not
don't
speak ill of my Mellow Corn.
It takes it's like drinking, you know, straight up vegetable oil.
It's probably one of those that if you're like 5 or 6 drinks in, it's not as bad. Yeah.
No, it's got its place for sure. Yeah. But it's funny because, again, another Mellow Corn thing, where we live in Powell, there's a liquor store right there that I go to, and the dude who owns that place, he always tells me, hey, if you want to make an old fashioned, he goes, a mellow corn old fashioned, he goes, you can't beat it.
Yes, you can.
Like, I feel like, yeah, you probably can. I'm not so sure about that, man.
Yeah, it's you know, I don't care, and I'll throw it back to this knife. You know, everyone's got their niche, and yeah, mellow corn's not mine. So I wanted to test your knowledge in history. It's been, I think, 27 or 29 years since the Great Heaven Hill Fire. How many barrels were lost in the Great Heaven Hill Fire?
That was 7,462.
Wow, you're close.
Am I?
92,000 barrels.
Nice. Holy cow.
That's a lot of alcohol that was lost in that fire. So the fact that they're still going, and you know, I appreciate all your hard work, people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely our favorite. I would say probably our favorite distillery.
Yeah. You know, I own a lot of stock.
That's one way to put it. Well, one thing that I wanted to touch on here, we referenced this earlier, and this was how these two knives came out from Kaiser right around the same time. And we have both of them on the table now, so I kind of wanted to talk about it. And as I said, I kind of ate my own shoes on that one. But we had had made our opinion kind of known that we were a big fan of this. And it's not like we don't have a whole lot of viewers, so I don't think anybody cared. But one lesson I learned is I want to handle a knife now from now on before I say anything about it. And thanks to Joe, I finally had an opportunity to handle the Phoenix here. I'll let you take that, Walsh. Yeah. And man, what a cool knife. Like, that is just visually, and the action as well. The thumb stud action on it is very satisfying. And the marble carbon fiber is super attractive.
Yeah, no, I stand by what I said earlier. I think I mentioned it earlier, that this is probably more user function friendly. I mean,
it doesn't have that big crazy blade.
Yeah, I just think this has a wow factor that I like, a funky factor, and it scares a lot of people. However, Kaiser, you're welcome. I have sold at least 2 of these to my coworkers now.
Oh, nice.
Well, to their husbands. They don't know it. You're getting it for Christmas. Merry Christmas. Because they were like, wow, that's really weird. How much is that? Like $50? And I said, no, it's not. And I ended up sending them the link, and at least 2 of them have purchased it. And there's a few on the wait list. Because these went really quick. On the Kaiser website, they were gone in seconds. And I was on the drop at 10 p.m. that night, and as soon as it came up, I hit buy now, and it was like, sold out in your area. Well, crap. And so I had Blade HQ pulled up and ready to go just in case, because it said that they were going to have them. Hit refresh, said still in stock, hit buy now, and got it. So Knife Center has a pre-sale going on right now. I think they got the second run. So if you go to Knife Sale, they may still have some. And what do they call it? Their down payment for the pre-sale.
Oh,
they've got a weird term for it, but it's $0.
Oh, okay.
Like Blade HQ, it's like $5 down. Knife Centers is $0. You just hit it. But as soon as it goes live, you're going to get charged. So make sure whatever you're buying, you have that money in your account.
So yeah, there's a couple things with this Phoenix that I wanted to touch on, particularly in the design. Again, man, I'm going to have to ask you to hold that up for me. Yeah, but there's a ramp to the thumb studs, which is really cool. A milled-in ramp in and I think that's a great touch. As well, there's also on the blade, there's like this, I guess it's more of a decorative fuller.
It is.
Yeah, but man, like that, and that's again another aesthetic, just a little aesthetic thing that I really like.
Right.
And in the hand, the ergonomics are fantastic. You know, and to me, again, visually, when this one came out, I was like, oh, I like the Huntsman. But they both, the thumb stud action on both of them is like perfectly tuned. And yeah, I'm stuck between the 2 of them now. I think Mattisfaction, man, he did a great job designing this thing. It's just, man, that is an attractive knife.
One of the latest Kaiser videos, I commented in the feed, I said, you're going to have to send me one so I can compare it to my Huntsman. And he said, well, you'll have to send me a Huntsman to compare it to my Phoenix.
Man, I love it. Well, anyway, yeah, I just want to take that opportunity to just kind of shout out Maddie on this because it's a really well done knife. Those little ramps, man. It's little touches like that that makes you appreciate a designer. You know,
there was a lot of thought put into the ergonomics on that design.
Yeah, well, and it shows as soon as you get it in hand. It just melts into the hand.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is it's a little blocky, but in a good way. And that's something that I like, well-rounded handles. Right. And this certainly has that. But even then, like,
he designed it for his hand, and he's a pretty good sized guy.
Okay, gotcha. See, I'm a pretty short dude. I have small sized hands, but I have sausage fingers. So I like a nice, you know, well-rounded handle. Man, yeah, that's great.
You need to get some padding for these chairs.
I know, man. These chairs, the reason I have these chairs when I have to meet somebody is so we can get the meeting over with as fast as possible.
I mean,
but it backfires during the podcast. Yeah. It's the exact opposite of what you want. Man, no, great knife.
Can we talk about these trays real quick?
Yeah,
I want to talk about these trays. And
whatever else
what do you got going on here? Oh, I know what those are.
Rough Riders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the lightning bugs.
Yeah, I wanted to see. They had the mandarin orange and the what was the brown one called?
That one is the tater chip.
Tater chip.
Yeah.
Tater tot. Still good?
Yeah.
All right, makes
Tater
me nervous.
tot. I don't know. It says on the blade.
Yeah. Okay, so sometimes things come out of left field, and I don't know if you're making me nervous. What are you doing? Oh, okay. You know, sometimes things come out of left field of like, why didn't I think of that sooner? Because we all have our junk, our pocket trash, and we all have dressers, and it just ends up going on the dresser. You took an old school tray for, I don't even know if they have these in schools anymore. It's probably illegal. I don't know. And just made something really interesting out of it. And now I'm like, I don't know how I went my life without one. Because right now I have a watch box, and he's got a watch box or two or three that we just throw our knives in. And, well, I mean, it works just fine, but this is something practical.
That you can organize with. Because I've made the valet trays in the past that's just one compartment. Yeah. And, I mean, that's fine, but a week in and you've got a mountain where you have to dig through it anyway and stuff's falling out the side. And this way you can organize a little bit.
So I'm partially like awe-inspired and like mad that why didn't I think of this? You know,
it seems so simple.
So simple, right? Like no, there's no way. I did bare minimum leather work as a kid. We had horses. I love the smell of leather. Tack room, going in there with the saddles and all that. I just love when we had a bourbon that when you taste it, it just has a leather flavor to it.
Right.
Oh man, and it just brings back memories. Smell and taste brings back so many memories. And I'm not going to sniff the tray, but just working with leather, I think would just make me happy. But to come up with something like this.
Yeah, it's
genius.
Yeah, it is.
It's genius on a basic level, and it infuriates me that I didn't think of it first. So, but no, that's great. Where do you end up getting these trays? Just Amazon or eBay? Or?
A lot of them come from used resellers.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
I'm going back and thinking. I'm like, well, here was my pizza. And you know, my block milk, and chicken patty day.
That's the thing. I've got several different designs of them. So far, I've just released a couple. I've got a couple more coming out soon. I've got a blue tray that's going to have black inlays. I've got a green tray that's going to have purple inlays.
Okay, there you go.
Wow.
That's talk about funky, man.
That's
I like it.
No, I like this. I like the red one too, but I like this basic kind of tan on tan color.
That's what I like. The simple traditional.
Hey, look at there. It holds my big fat one. Well, this way.
Holds a wallet, holds a cell phone. It'll hold your Field Notes book.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I wanted to check it out.
All right. Like I said, we're going to Smoky Mountain Knife Works later this week, and I wanted to look at this little thing.
It's a fun little knife.
Tater tot. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's pretty small. It's funky. That's my word of the day. It's funky. And just based on that merit alone, I may have to get one.
And that's probably 5th or 6th in the series they've done.
I've seen 3, the tangerine, the green one I can't remember the name of, and the tater tot.
The green one is the lightning bug. I think the last series was those 3. They had the first one that came out was the tadpole. And then there was the Angry Watermelon, the tadpole with the
Oh, I
face
didn't
on the
see that
blade.
one. Yeah.
And there was a Stompin' Berry that was blue. And there was an Angry Bee that was yellow, I believe.
Oh, my word.
That's cool. But that was on my list to look at this week.
It's just a fun little knife.
It is. It really is. It's funny, though. I like Rough Rider a lot just because the amount of things that they will do with that brand is just really interesting.
Yeah.
And after talking with, so again, this is something I may have said this earlier, but we wanted to thank you for introducing us to Greg because
absolutely.
He's super cool. And after talking with him about kind of the background of Rough Rider and I guess kind of the mission of the brand, you know, of how they're going through these old catalogs and you know and breathing life back into these old knife patterns. Man, it really fascinated me to hear about that. And yeah, it's kind of reinvigorated. I've always loved Rough Rider, but now I'm looking at them a lot more now. Yeah. And when we go there this week, yeah, I don't know, probably going to pick something up for sure. God, this is a fun little knife. Oh man, that's funny.
It's funky.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
I love these little Swiss Army knives too. It has to have scissors.
They come in handy, and those are the world's best scissors.
Yep.
Yep.
I have a Swiss Army, the Lobos. It's got a wolf on it, and it has to have scissors. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So if y'all don't mind me changing the subject real quick.
Go ahead.
So yes, we were saying, we really appreciate you introducing us, you know, and getting us hooked up over there and all that. So we wanted to say thank you. So we got you a little gift. Yeah.
A little something.
But you know, you hooked us up with the coins and stuff, and you know.
That's awesome.
That's so Walsh and I kind of modded that together. What you got there is it's D2 steel, an acid wash. I was trying to get that G10 to feel a little bit like a linen micarta.
Yeah, it's got some texture there.
Yeah, it's got kind of that clothy kind of smoothness. The dye it got a little weird on me, but you know, it's
good.
It's kind of got that sort of.
It looks worn in.
It looks worn in. Yeah, it looks vintage. It looks vintagey without really being vintagey. But yeah, so we just wanted to say thanks and
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
There's you know, to me, gifting a knife is one of those things that I love to do.
Oh yeah.
But you know, when you're never sure all the time if somebody's going to be enthusiastic or not. But when you know somebody is, it's like, okay, great.
Yeah.
Like,
When they pull out this much, you're thinking, we've got the right guy.
Yeah. Ooh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, that's
bar.
Oh, that's
That
so
one's seen better days. It
cool.
needs a good cleaning.
Oh man, I don't even care. That is dope.
better days. I mean, it looks like.
So I guess that's like a folding hunter then.
It is, yeah.
Okay, man.
I mean, it looks like it's had some good days.
Oh yeah.
Wow. You got to hold that one up real quick.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'm going to check that camera one more time.
We did an hour long bit, and the camera never recorded.
That's awful.
And because we went back and looked, like, how long did it record? And it never recorded. He's like, I swear I hit start. He's like, actually, I know it hit start because it blinked at me that it started. And we had talked for an hour.
Yeah, and it was all pretty good.
All for
you know,
naught,
one of them
yeah.
where we felt like, oh man, that was a great video.
Yeah.
Turn around and it's nothing recorded.
So.
Yeah, that's so. You got to let me see this thing. So between the two of us, I guess I have more of the traditional leaning. And then,
Yes.
Yeah. So something like this to me is like,
Yeah.
man. Now, what's the story behind this? Was this something you've had for a while?
That was one of my grandfather's knives.
One of your grandfather? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So I've got, like I said, I've got a few my dad had, but they were all just like flea market finds, you know. And it's funny. My great grandfather was a butcher, and he did leave behind he had a sharpening steel. So I have that, I'm really appreciative to have that. But both my dad and my granddad on my mom's side, they were both just flea market dudes. And so this right here though is a cool, just such a beautiful heirloom kind of thing, man.
Yeah.
I love this.
I was having that talk the other day with somebody, and they were talking about all the new Buck 110s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, it's got to have the brass bolsters.
Yeah. No, I get it, man.
It's that nostalgia of that. That's what my grandfather carried.
The way it ages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh.
Going with that Buck 110, I'm going to use his word, hot take.
Yeah.
Do you like the button auto in the Buck 110?
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that
I don't
one.
have a problem with it. Okay.
I think they should have renamed the 110. Once you get away from the wood handle with the brass bolster, it's a different knife. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the newer ones, but it's not, when I think buck 110, it's not what I think.
No, it's that's a good point. Yeah. And they truly have, like, they've, you know, and on one hand, I'm glad to see them try different things.
Yeah.
And I do think those new, like, I guess they're micarta and some are in G10.
Yeah.
I think they're attractive.
They are.
But again, I'm kind of with both of you fellers on just the buck 110. It's the buck 110.
Yeah.
And it's that, you know, either it's ebony or it's I can't remember what other woods they made it in, but and the brass bolsters, like that's what it is. And I actually, so I this is the only one I have is this little cheap LT. I've been waiting for the right 110 because, you know, the buck, and this is a whole other thing. I brought up SK Blades earlier, who did these special factory runs. They no longer exist because Buck has placed a lot of emphasis lately on doing their own sort of custom runs. And they're pretty cool because it's like they have a buck of the month every month.
Right.
Yeah, and it's going to be a limited run thing, and it's going to have a little higher level of, you know, kind of customization to it. And so I'm waiting for the right 110 to show up in one of the bucks of the month. And they had one this year I was really interested in, and it was the buck 110 for 2023. There's another thing they do is that they'll do a pattern for the whole year, and you can order it any time during the year. Once the year's over, though, it's not for sale anymore.
Right.
So the one they had this year, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful knife, but man, so it's a rich light handle that's been scalloped. It's a beautiful handle. It doesn't have the butt end bolster, so it's just all the way through, except on the it's got the front bolster. The blade steel is S45, I think. But yeah, they want $330 for it, which is it's a hard swallow, and it's a beautiful knife, but I don't know. It's, again, I think it departs just a little too much, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for one to come along that, you know, has the sort of the legacy of the old school 110s.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Also something that grabs me. But anyway.
If you knew somebody that was into modding, they might be able to make one.
If only. Yeah. I'm kind of with you. I feel like there should have been a name change or something.
Yeah.
Because
it's just not the same.
It's not the same. It's often imitated but never duplicated. That was the phrase. But
well, you know, and I'm going to reference so my favorite knife YouTuber is this Australian dude, Cedric Canadian Gear and Outdoors, and he got popular doing all of these like really long-winded cut.
He's in Australia?
Yes. Oh no, this is not. There's no way. There's
okay,
no
I'm
way.
just saying we have one viewer in Australia,
and it's not him, dude. I guarantee you. There's no way. If it was, I would be like, oh man, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah.
One of those fangirl moments. But he made a point where he's like, every collection needs a 110, and I'm like, I got this one, but you know, and it's, you know, I modded it, so I have some pride in it.
Yeah.
But it's not the 110, so this upcoming year might be the year I change that. Just get the old school classic, you know, buck 110. Anyway, that was a huge buck tangent. Yeah. Walsh, you need to help me climb my way out of this.
Buck and hole?
Yeah.
So, no, I think, he started the buck tangent, yeah. But
we'll blame
with the K-bar there.
Yeah. God, I love that thing.
So, I looked at it and saw that case.
The case folding hunter.
Folding hunter that you got me. And so I was curious, and then I remember he said that he had the K-bar.
So did you make that sheath for this?
I did, yeah.
Man, that's beautiful.
At this point, I'm not going to ask anymore. Like,
you may as well assume.
Yeah, a little scout carry.
If you don't, so scout carry. That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. So then I guess you would in this fashion, kind of on the back then, or like.
I normally wear it on my left side and cross draw.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because it's not comfortable to sit on it.
I've never really done a scout carry.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it, but I've never tried it with any of my fixed blades.
So that just right on the front of the belt, opposite appendix side, and
that's awesome.
Now, if I could ask, what's your favorite piece that you've made? Not even if it's not even here. Favorite piece. If you just had something that was like, I made this, and this was the one that was just, that's mine.
I don't know that I've got a favorite piece.
Really? I mean, I guess that'd be like asking us which knife is our favorite.
Which mod's your favorite?
Which mod's my favorite?
Well, I can say, actually, I do have an answer for that.
Yeah, I got an answer, a little Lakota mod. That was fun, and that was my first bit at trying to do like a little history lesson as well as doing just a fun
and I love that video, and I feel like I feel like you hit a really cool niche with that video. Yeah. And if you ever want to do more, I'm certainly on board, so that's video for another time, but man, that was a really cool video.
Yeah, so that would be my favorite mod that I've been a part of. I don't know, you've done a lot more than I have, so.
I don't know what my favorite is, honestly. That's a tough.
I'm the oddball. All right, cool.
No, yeah.
I think a lot of mine are more milestones or periods of time where I've come up with something new and introduced it, and then moving on to something different where I can identify periods of time from items, but not necessarily overall. Right.
Yeah, I would imagine, I don't know, what interests me is, I guess from your standpoint as a maker, when you come up with a new design,
right,
and then going through, I guess, the streamlining process of,
right.
I mean, now
perfecting that process.
Yeah. And granted, like, you're not mass producing anything, I'm sure, but it's more just like coming away with a handful of items that,
And I'm sure it's the same with modding, is when you start with a new technique and then you get a new tool to help with that technique and streamline the process. Just like what I said with this depends on if it was the first one or the 50th one.
Right, on the amount of time.
Right. Yeah. How much time has been put into learning and perfecting that skill?
Yeah.
Well, I talked about that on this video where these handles were brown, they were a light tan, and I dyed them the first time with the blue, and they just got tanner.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not math. That's not how that works. But I didn't have the water hot enough. The dye wasn't hot enough, and so that was a learning, because I was like, I'm going to do this without Enzo. I'm gonna show them that I'm not completely useless, and I still screwed it up. So I had to go on YouTube of all places and be like, why did I mess this up? And then once I figured it out, so there is a learning curve to everything we do. I've broken 2 Dremels now.
Hey, I will say though, you're mentioning acquiring new tools and stuff to do a certain process. The Dremel was the single greatest thing. That and a drill press. For actually using a wire wheel on a drill press, as far as I know, is the best way to make orange peel finishes on titanium. But between that and the Dremel, man.
You didn't bring the Carter Prime. Yeah, and you did a killer orange peel on the Carter Prime.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about bringing that knife.
Yeah.
I've been neglecting that one again.
That's my favorite brick.
Knife. I know, and I'll carry it for like a week and be like, oh, it's a great knife. And
you ever seen the Carter Prime?
I don't think I have. No.
It is just rectangle brick.
It looks like an angry alligator when it's open, and when it's closed, it looks like a brick.
Yeah, but man, I love that knife. It's just funky.
It's designed by Robert Carter, and if I'm not mistaken, he's the grandson of Mel Pardue, I think, a Benchmade designer. That's a real big designer. I hope I didn't say the wrong name.
I couldn't tell you. I
think it was Mel Pardue. I'm gonna verify that. Don't quote me on that. I think everybody knows not to quote me on anything. But
don't quote us and check the date.
Yeah, always check the date before you say, I tried to find X, Y, and Z and it's not there. Okay, well, it may not be there now.
Yeah, we had an individual comment on a 2-year-old video that they're lying, it's not for that price. Well, that was 2 years ago. Yeah. So good times. Where we're going now?
Oh man, let's see. We've talked a lot of stuff here. Well, I'm going by your lovely outline here.
Well, it's more of a guideline.
Sure.
It's not, but. Well, let me say this. So looking at my coin here, I kind of want to stick with industry for a minute. I've gotten more into the coin game recently because I feel if I got into leather game, I would go bankrupt because I would be buying all the Tandy leather I could find and just playing all the time, driving my wife insane and spending a lot of money. When it comes to coins, like I search and dig and just go through pages. And whenever we go somewhere, we've been to a lot of interesting places this year. We've been to NASA, been to the Naval Air Museum, and they've got all these coins, and some of them are just kind of goofy little, I don't want to say kids coins, but they look like kid coins. And I go through dozens of coins, and I finally found like one.
Right.
And I'm like, that's my coin. So if we're going pocket trash, you went, hanky or bandana or whatever you want to call that.
You don't say hanky.
I don't know what Hank. Sorry,
hanky.
We have kids. It's fine.
Oh my Lord.
Coins of kind of where my pocket trash.
Okay.
And so now having this new.
Oh yeah.
This new piece right here.
I love that it's a shield. It's great. A great way to differentiate it. And for me being a fan of traditional knives, shields are a big deal.
Yeah.
I love that.
So yeah, it's got to be unique. It's got to be interesting. The one I got at the Naval Museum is a really fighter pilot helmet outline. So it's not perfectly round. It's actually got the helmet look to it. So it's unique. Right. And so that's where I was going with the shield pattern. It's unique. It's got a cool design, and it's not just some little, you could have got that at Walmart in the slot machine thing. So
yeah, it's definitely one of a kind.
But I don't know, like, how do you get into that market? Oh, hit him with a tough question.
I've had a couple of coins made, and it's just finding a vendor that can do it.
Dropped a couple coins.
Yeah, it's just patina.
Right guy to drop it.
He said it's just patina. That was good.
But yeah, I mean, the coins, a couple of years ago, I had one of my copper coins. I talked to a silversmith and had him custom make with lost wax molding.
Really?
Had him make me some silver coins like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's, I guess I had a friend in the military who not recently, it was a little while ago, but he had a promotion and he had coins made for that occasion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the thing to me that kind of got the ball. Like, man, this is really cool. It's a really neat thing to dig into. And you and I have never really have, I guess, fully explored that.
No.
But maybe one of these days.
Well, it's because there's more options in the knife world than there is the.
Well, I think the reason we gravitate towards the things like the coins is the sentimental aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we talked 15 minutes about Buck 110.
Exactly.
There's that emotional connection to these things.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of come in with a random question here, and yeah, if you don't want to go into this, we certainly don't have to. But kind of bringing up heirloom stuff. I know you've got a child, or I don't know how many children you have.
I've got a couple.
You got a couple.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that something that you think they're going to be interested in? Are you going to hand down a lot of this?
Yeah, my kids are fairly big, so
okay.
Neither one of them really care a whole lot for the leather work, but they both carry knives.
Okay, great. I see, and that's something with my son. He is just waiting for the first chance to carry a knife, and he's still real little. But I've given him, those little wooden spider codes that they're all wood. Yeah. I gave him one of those, and he was just over the moon. And so I'm kind of looking forward to having that experience of starting to hand things down to him, little by little. Yeah. And again, coming back to that K-bar, man, what a great piece to hand down. Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah. Well, that's nice. It's just something I was curious about. It's always good to hear that the subsequent generation is on board. That's great.
And my oldest is 10, and if I leave a knife out, if it's not in the watch box, and there's several that have been left out recently, he goes and opens all of them and lays them out, just leaves them open. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. And he goes, which one of these is mine? And I'm like, none. Yeah. None. I was like, there's one that may be yours eventually when you can figure out how to close it. Yeah. But it's a Rough Rider canoe. So,
okay, there you go. Yeah.
So I said that'll be his first knife that I'll gift to him whenever he can figure out how to close a knife after he opens it.
I got to think about it. I haven't actually thought to the point like which one would I hand down first.
Now Condor makes that kind of wooden knife too. Like the Spyderco does. It's a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And so I've thought about maybe doing that for
Is it like a fixed kind of thing, or is it a folding knife?
I'm pretty sure it's a folding knife.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it's got that the blue, like the Blue River.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's a word like the cerulean blue or what?
Turquoise.
Jeez, English is tough sometimes. It's got the turquoise onlay, if you want to call it. Yeah. And it looks really nice. So I've thought about doing that for him, and it's wooden, so he wouldn't be able to hurt himself too much.
No, I remember one of the first things my parents got me that was knife shaped was a wooden machete, and it had this beautiful painting on it. It was really cool. They went to some exotic place and came back with it as a gift. And I guess I was about 8. And as an 8-year-old, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, man. Oh, yeah. And at the time, I lived in Mississippi, and we lived on the Natchez Trace, and we would go back there and run around. And I remember telling my friends, like, "Oh man, I got a machete now. We're going to carve our way. We're going to make a new trail, man. It's not going to be." And of course, I show up with this giant wooden stick. But still, it was really cool.
That reminds me of Ames. We got this buddy named James, but we call him Ames. He and I went to Gatlinburg one day, and there used to be, it may still be there, this China Bazaar.
Oh yes, China Bazaar.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know the place.
We went in, and he bought or he bought a katana or something, or a fake katana, and I bought these Wolverine claws.
Oh, I remember those claws.
I still have it.
Holy cow!
So it's this,
dude, you got to bust those out for a video.
It's this wooden handle that you just grab onto, and it's got these 3 giant claws. So we went up through Cades Cove, and if you've never been to Cades Cove, you're kind of missing out. But just don't go during tourist season
hours, yeah,
which is actually all the time now, and you have to buy a parking pass now. Anyway, I was leaned out this side with my Hugh Jackman
your Hugh Jackman claws,
Wolverine claws, and he's driving his little Mitsubishi Eclipse, holding a katana out this side.
Oh my God, dude!
And we're just whacking tree limbs as we go by. Yeah, we were young and dumb, but we had a lot of fun.
What even is that?
Well, it was just fun.
Let's stick our arms out the window. And
hey,
that does sound like a James thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I remember one. Yeah, I don't want to get on this. We need to do an episode.
We have to have him on to make fun of him.
I'm going to save some of those stories because he's one of those dudes like that. As soon as you get around him, you're going to have a night that is going to come up with a story.
Yeah.
But
it'll end with a story.
It'll end with a story. That's funny.
Yeah.
The old China Bazaar, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, so other bizarre things. Hey, it's the holiday season. You like that transition?
That was very good.
So I wanted to say, because it is Christmas time, and there's one thing that I always do around Christmas, and my wife thinks it's bizarre. I always watch Rocky IV when I'm wrapping presents.
What's the connection?
The fight's on Christmas Day. It's in Russia, you know. So
I've never seen Rocky IV. I think I saw Rocky 1, 2, and 3, and then I saw the modern ones. And I don't think I saw because it's
Rocky. It's where he fights Dolph Lundgren. He's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm familiar with
Death
the fight.
from Above. Yeah.
Okay.
You've seen Rocky IV?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Now I'm the odd man out.
We'll have a conversation about this
Persona
later.
non grata.
Yeah. But because a lot of people, they watch some sort of holiday movie, with the family, the Grinch or something like that.
But what's the one with Bruce Willis? I'm trying to think of.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Thank you. Yeah. I mean that to me.
Yeah.
If you're going
Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
I remember reading a thing about, Snape was dangling off the side of the building there, and they didn't tell him that they were going to cut the wire. So that reaction when he's falling off the building is his actual reaction. Because they were like, all right, we're going to cut it in 3. Ready, 1. And they cut it, and the drop, so his reaction right there in that moment is genuine because he was not prepared. I thought that was interesting bit of...
No, that is. Well, so it's been a while since I've seen Die Hard. I don't have like a tradition with that one or anything. But anytime somebody mentions it, like, oh, it's Christmas, got to bust out Die Hard, I'm always like, you're right, man. Like, why am I not doing that? I need to... So this year, I'm like up to my eyeballs in work right now.
Yeah.
But somehow I will make time to watch some Die Hard.
And Rocky IV.
And I will make time to watch Rocky IV.
I'll let you borrow it.
Okay.
So it was actually, growing up, it used to, all the Rockies used to play, I think, on TNT. That's still a channel, isn't it? I don't have cable.
No, I don't have cable anymore either.
Okay, it just makes me nervous. He checked the camera again for those listening. The Rocky movies always used to have a marathon at Christmas, always. And so...
I didn't know this was a thing, Rocky and Christmas. I did not know this.
Well, it's been replaced by Harry Potter. Not knocking Harry Potter. I enjoyed the books and most of the movies. However... Rocky IV, or just the Rockies in general, will always have I'm a little bit older, will always have more of a special place.
Okay. That's good to know.
So what's your random Christmas tradition?
It's not super random. Me and my sister grew up on the Jim Carrey, well, not grew up. So I grew up watching the animated Grinch when it would like play on cable and stuff. And my sister, when she came along, she's about 8 years younger than me. That was it was a few years after she was born that the Jim Carrey Grinch came out. So we watched that a ton with her, being little. And so she and I have like this really, as goofy as that movie is, she and I have an affinity for that movie. Yeah. So whenever she's in town for Christmas, we'll make sure to watch it a few times. But beyond that, man, I don't have anything too crazy.
It doesn't have to be a movie, just,
No, honestly, that's one of the few things I can think of. We don't really have a whole lot. I mean, we just do all the typical stuff, But beyond that, no. I like yours better, man. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. And I'm a big Nightmare Before Christmas guy, which that's also a Christmas movie. But
well, my sister is too.
Yeah, I watch that year round. So that, the Rockies, especially Rocky IV, is just really around the holidays. Because I make everyone go away. I'm wrapping presents. Go away. This is my time. Leave me alone. And they'll go upstairs and watch something else, and I'm downstairs in my living room, wrapping presents, watching Rocky. So, you got anything random like that?
Nothing really random. The only thing that comes to mind is, I mean, since my kids were little, reading "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" to them.
Oh yeah. Mm.
And even though they're big now, I still do it.
Oh, nice. That's great. That's great. So yeah, actually, now you bring that up, I will say, like, my kids are a big fan of Polar Express, so we do read that one, and they watch the movie like constantly during December. But no, that's a good answer. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like, reading to the kids is obviously a big one as well. But I guess to play off the Christmas, the time of year that we're in right now, is there anything that you're like doing as far as Lancelot Leater? Do you have any like special stuff going on for Christmas, or trying to get anything out the door?
Not a lot. I'm working a lot on these trays right now.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay,
how much are the trays going for?
The trays are $48 right now. They are 20% off and will be through the end of the year.
Nice. Okay, sweet.
And 2 more variations about to come out soon.
Okay. That's awesome.
But you can put me down for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll get you your $48. Because I don't know, you pulled that out and I just childhood memory.
Immediately gravitated to it.
Immediately gravitated to it.
Nostalgia factor.
Yeah, the nostalgia. I'm like, yeah, that stuff's cool. No, but no, the tray. I'm still mad. Like I didn't,
What are you mad about?
No, it's awesome.
Be glad that it exists.
I'm so glad that it exists, but it's one of those like, why didn't I think of that?
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Man, yeah, it is really cool. So yeah, I'm waiting on one thing, but I'm going to get in touch with you about a sheath. That's kind of the big thing that I'm kind of waiting for. And I mean, you know what I'm thinking about. As soon as that happens, I'm like waiting on the day here. It's any day now. So do you have like a backlog of work right now, or are you fairly available?
Right now, I'm fairly caught up, and probably will be that way through the end of the year.
Okay, great. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Because we're behind.
Yeah.
It's like we've got 10 videos to shoot in the next 2 weeks. Great. Yeah. And like I said, I'm like, Christmas for me for work is just insane.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to just kind of take it one step at a time and climb my way out. So I don't know where the editing's going to happen. It's going to happen, but I just don't know how it's going to happen. But it will happen.
I mean, I help out the best I can.
No, you do. You do more work than I do now. It's like,
Yeah, but you do better work.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
There's give and take.
That's not true. No, man. It's funny because I started the channel by myself, and then I had him on. It's like what we're doing right now is what I really wanted to do with the channel when I started it.
Yeah.
Was to just like have enthusiasts on and just have conversations about gear and stuff. And so I had him on. I had this series called Takedown Talk where I would like strip down knives, talk about what was really cool about that particular knife, and then put it back together, after cleaning it up and stuff. And at the time, he had a Kershaw Shuffle. And it was like kind of the first new knife that you bought, really.
Yeah, Shuffle 2.
Yeah, the Shuffle 2, yeah. And we kind of took that thing down and cleaned it out and got into why, you were really into it.
Yeah, small knife, and because he had a dozen or so knives at that point, if not more. And I was like, what do I need out of a knife? I've got this. I need something else in my life, and what else can I do? And at the time, I was like, I want something small, semi-lightweight, not going to fill up my pocket. Oh, it has a can opener on it. Well, that's cool. And so, that's what I ended up going with, and that was my...
Small, lightweight.
like I said, we
made a left turn there somewhere.
Back and forth, but what are we at time-wise there?
And then this one I have to keep recycling, but
okay.
Let me tell you here.
Because we learned the hard way, 90 minutes.
We're at an hour and 20, so we got to start.
Oh, we got 10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes, yeah.
Well, that seems like a good time to throw in your rapid-fire questions.
All right.
Because I'm looking forward to this. I only know one of them.
All right.
So I'm going to unashamedly pull out my phone to go over the list that I made.
Yeah.
It's just 10 questions, so nothing crazy. And some knife related, some related to your line of work. And I think a couple that are just general ADC questions.
Oh, wait.
What or who is your favorite U.S.-based knife manufacturer?
Caveat: they only make USA knives only, or they make there's give and take there because
we got two sides.
Okay,
it's strictly U.S.-based.
That's a tough one. There are a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the most carried is probably from my Tactile.
Tactile. That's it. Okay, good answer. So favorite imported knife manufacturer? Putting you on the spot, man.
Manufacturer or OEM?
oh,
And now I'm on the spot.
served to
Let's
you.
say OEM.
Let's go with Riot then.
Riot.
Yeah.
Okay, good answer. Do you have a favorite blade steel? Now you said you weren't a steel snob.
No, I do not.
Okay.
154 is the correct answer. I'm just.
I like the high carbon. I like the 1095, the 1075, the stuff that gets a patina.
I was about to say that just links right back to what we were talking about with that age and heirloom.
Yeah.
You know. So favorite. I'm sorry. Thumb stud or flipper?
Thumb stud.
Thumb stud.
All right. Favorite handle material?
Depends on the knife. Micarta, burlap micarta.
Burlap micarta.
Or bone.
Okay. All right. I like that. Drop point or tanto?
Drop point.
Front flippers, yay or nay?
No.
Another one that kind of puts you on the spot. Favorite knife designer?
Well, I've got to go with Matisfaction, of course.
I knew. I had a feeling. Okay, so favorite EDC item to use in general, whether it's a knife, a flashlight, a pen, or something else?
Have to be the knife.
Okay.
The most used, at least.
The most used. Okay, perfect. And finally, of all the products you make, is there one that is your favorite to create?
No.
Like them all. Can't pick a favorite child.
Yeah.
We covered.
Probably the exo slips.
Yeah, that's to me that's one of the standout ones
Yeah.
that really caught my eye. Nice.
That's one of the ones I do the most.
I'm still leaning to that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, I do too.
That one's not original, though. That one's been made and remade by countless makers everywhere. This one is original to me.
So, how do you get like a patent on that to be like, this is mine? Can you do that?
I could. It's not really worth it.
Cost more money than it's worth.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money, and then whenever someone tries to steal it, then you have to go through the legal work of fighting it. And if they want to steal it that bad, I can come up with something different.
Yeah.
If they can't put the time and thought into design work, I can always redo it and redo it better. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So before we close out, you have a question that I know you were wanting to ask.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. I don't think we've been down this road already. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, well, man, that could be a long conversation.
Not
We got
necessarily.
like
He can answer
8
pretty
minutes.
quick.
All right, so I have this question that I was going to try to answer any and all guests that come on the show, because I think it's an interesting conversation to have about a conversation. If you could have a conversation with any two other people, so a three-way conversation, you being one of them, two other people, who would the other two people be? Any point in history, doesn't matter.
Whenever you told me about this, I put a lot of thought into it. And I went a bunch of different directions. I mean, you've got people like Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a great conversation. Yeah. I mean, they're John Browning.
Okay.
But the more time I thought about it, I can read just about anything I want about any of them.
Fair.
So what I settled on was with my two grandfathers. They both passed when I was late teens, early 20s, and I was in that position of, I know everything. And to be able to go back and all those questions be asked and listen to those stories, the things you take for granted when you don't. I mean, it's just that's what's there, and you don't think anything special of it.
Yeah.
And I think that would be my answer.
That's a great answer.
That's an incredible answer, man.
Two polar different people, but so much knowledge that they could impart, and probably did if I was paying attention.
I mean, that
I don't know if anybody's
puts
going to
mine
top
to
that
shame.
one.
No, yeah.
That's a really good answer.
Well, because I had an original answer, and my wife's grandfather was one of those answers because, we knew a little bit. I knew a little bit about him before he passed, but after he passed, you heard so many stories about what he did in previous wars. What he did, he was ATF. I mean, way back in the day, he was presidential detail. He had, he spoke Russian. He spoke, I think, some German. He translated, and I was like, I didn't know this when he was alive, and so I originally went that route, but then I couldn't think of another personal or another sentimental way to go. And so I just kind of went a little bonkers on both ends. But I think they're both interesting individuals, and to see them have a conversation with, I'm going to say the before and the after. George Washington, you went Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington and Bill Goldberg. The guy that, you see his face? What? The guy that started pretty much the American dream, and the guy that's pretty much the same size 250 years later, living that American dream. And how to watch the interaction between the two of them. Because George Washington was a giant amongst men 200 years ago. He was 6'2", 230, 240 pounds, where the average dude was 5'6" at 130 pounds. I mean, we had a lot of skinny people back in the day, but they weren't eating very well. But so to see George Washington, he was a giant. But he'd be this a little bit smaller than Bill Goldberg now. But to see someone that was like, this is what we set up this country to be, and to see this is who, not everyone's going to see this as like the individual, this is what America is. But dude was a football player, American football player, sorry, American dream. Then he was a professional wrestler, American. And then now he's kind of a YouTuber. He has Goldberg's Garage, where he fixes up American muscle cars. And he lives on a big ranch in Texas. American dream by the forefather of the American dream. I would just sit here and be like, So I would love to hear that conversation. But no, you topped me with the sentimental.
I don't know if there's any topping that. That was a good one. And it makes me, like I was mentioning, my grandfather was a butcher, my great-grandfather. And again, it was the same kind of thing. He passed away when I was a teenager, and like you're saying, there's a wealth of knowledge there. It's gone now. So no, I appreciate your answer, because it's a very reflective answer, and it's something that, if there's any young people watching, take note of that, and I don't know how many young people have the attention span for something like this, but just in case.
This is your 9th attempt at listening to this,
But anyway, on that note, on such a wonderful answer, I think it's probably a good time to wrap up.
Oh, you're not going to give us your answer?
Oh, I didn't. Okay, yeah, let me give you my answer real quick. Well, I wasn't prepared.
He tried to get out of that, yeah.
I'm not prepared, man. I didn't know I was going to have this fired back at me.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, so I'm going to stay on what I said the first time, I think. When you asked me this way back, I said William Faulkner, the author. The one difference I'm going to make is, instead of Faulkner and Hemingway, I'm super fascinated by the relationship those two writers had. And they're crazy different writing styles. Faulkner was very wordy and very, what's the word I'm looking for? His writing style was so intricate. And Hemingway was super sparse and very to the point.
Yeah.
But they were both taught by the same, God, I'm getting off on a tangent here. They were both taught by the same mentor.
Well, that's like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. You've got one that writes a book about a twig, and one that writes about a battle in 3 pages.
On that note, so I'm going to say William Faulkner. I'm going to keep that answer just because he's probably still my favorite author. I'm going to say William Faulkner, and actually, this is going to be a weird answer. Sam Beam of Iron and Wine. Y'all familiar with him?
Yes.
You
listen to Iron and Wine?
Okay.
No.
So he's from the South, and his writing style with his music is very it's very reminiscent of that sort of that era of writing that Hemingway and Faulkner are both from. So I feel like it would be an interesting conversation between those two people. I majored in writing in college, so that's kind of why I care about this stuff. But
I was broadcast journalism. So,
yeah, I don't know. I would just love to kind of understand.
Listening to Iron and Wine, you really have to listen to the lyrics and decode what he's saying.
You have to decode it, and that's how Faulkner writes.
Yeah.
You have to decode his writing, and I would love to understand just the thought process behind that kind of a narrative, and like where your head was at, when you said this crazy, this thing that that probably has much deeper meaning than I ascribe to it. So that's my answer. Still not as good as his.
No, but I like the turn you made to the iron and wine. No, that was good.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, like I said, I couldn't remember for sure. Yeah, Hemingway sounded like who I said the first time. But no, anyway, yeah, Iron and Wine is very interesting lyricist. But on that note, anything else we want to cover? Want to wrap it up, or what are we thinking?
No, you've got wrap up duty.
I've got wrap up duty.
I just do this.
Okay, well, hey, guys, thank y'all so much for joining us. Big thank you to Joe from Lancelot Leater for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh man, yeah, it was a blast. We love just getting to admire like all of this work that you brought with you, and grateful for you for bringing.
Thank you.
Go ahead and plug your website.
EDCroundtable.com.
Awesome. And people can find you on Instagram as well. Just
Lancelot Leater.
Yeah, at Lancelot Leater. Look for him on Instagram. And do you do most of your Lancelot Leater goods? Are they sold through Instagram? Or is there another place for them?
They're all sold on the EDC Roundtable.
Awesome.
There's a link on his Instagram to EDC.
Right.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all in the next episode, probably about a month or so. But yeah, thanks again, Joe.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.